Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is an overall general reading for Pisces season, so I am going to go through each of the signs. You'll find the timestamps in the description box below. But just as an overall theme, I was getting sort of like a theme of manifesting dreams. So for Pisces season, because it is sort of the end of the zodiac wheel, it is talking about letting go of something. But with Pisces, it's also kind of bringing in sort of like, it is coming through with kind of like a balancing energy. So letting go of things in order to start fresh, that kind of thing. Especially in regards to manifesting dreams. So if there is some sort of thing that you're trying to manifest, like, is there some things that you need to let go to start fresh, or like that, it's that kind of vibe. So that's the overall theme for this reading. Again, I'm going to go through each of the signs and you'll find the timestamps in the description box below. Hi Aries, welcome to your reading. So let's get started here. We're going to start off with the bottom of the deck energy. You have here the dog barking, advice from a friend. You have Guardian at the Gate, and you have the Hanged Man. So this Guardian at the Gate talks about like moving from one phase of your life into another phase of your life. It's kind of coming through like that. But it's like, this one always talks to me about like whenever you make a change or you move through something, it's kind of like, or like there's a new beginning. There's something being lost. Whatever the past thing is, like whatever you're moving out of. This may be tied to the Capricorn reading. That may be helpful for you as well. So keep that in mind. But there is something here about like, for Pisces season, because it is Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is out. I feel like maybe throughout this next month or so, it's like there's like something here about like getting a new perspective about something. Because it kind of feels like Aries. I've been getting this energy for Aries for a while now, like moving, like going towards something that you want. But it's kind of like there's energies here about like something being lost as well. Because the overall sort of energy with the fairies, you got 3. You have Mick the Myomancer, Lady of the Harvest, and Singer of Initiation. So the initiation and the Guardian at the Gate go really well together, right? It talks about some sort of initiation process, starting something new, moving into something new. And there is sort of like this energy of like some sort of challenge that you're having to go through. In regards to that, I feel like, especially here at the Mick the Myomancer, you may be, if you don't know what this is, it's like you may be getting small clues about what's changing for you, like like small clues. Like the universe may be communicating with you in like small details. Attention to detail is really important here in order to like give you almost like a heads up, or like what's coming, what's to come. With the Lady of the Harvest as well, this is the crone. It is talking about an ending of some sort, where I feel like there's kind of like, again, it's like, it's feeling like one last like celebration, or one last sort of like, moment or something like that with this energy, before you move on to something else. It was also kind of coming through as being like stages of grief, which is what I'm seeing in the cards here, actually. Like stages of grief, of like moving through different stages, and finally letting something go. But I actually feel like, though, Aries, whatever this ending is, it kind of feels like it's something that is a difficult situation is coming to an end. That's how it was coming through here. A difficult situation is coming to an end. So even though it's something that like needed to change, I feel like there's still sort of like grief about it, which is totally Totally understandable. Because the first 4 tea leaf cards for you, Aries, are all difficult. You have the broken wishbone, a wish will not be granted. The spear, heartache over what you no longer have. The moon, changes in your life. And the casket, someone going out of your life or the end of a situation, right? So it's kind of like these are all the stages of grief is kind of how it's coming through. Something's ending. But the last tea leaf card you have here is romance, celebration, and party. So it's kind of like, this is what you're moving towards. The romance, celebration, and party. But in the process, it's like there's like this loss energy, right? It's a tricky, it's very bittersweet, extremely bittersweet, because whatever it is that you're going towards is all of this like happiness, romance, celebration. I'm pretty sure this came out in the Sagittarius reading as well. Like when I did the whole Sagittarius all signs reading for Aries. So I feel like that energy is still here. It's kind of like the focus though for this month might be just like moving past like whatever's ending. It's interesting, the casket energy, because it was coming through. Vanessa Hudgens, a celebrity, when she was getting married, she had like a celebration of like a funeral for her single life. It could be something like that for you, Aries, especially if the romance card is coming out. But again, it's like because of all of this, there's like things about your life as you know it, right? Like your habits, your conditions that are going to be changing, and it might cause a little bit of like maybe heartache, or I don't know, something like that, because it kind of feels like maybe there was something that you wanted to do here with the wishbone, but it might not be possible now. Anyways, let's get into the tarot cards. So we have 6 of Swords coming out next. Again, I feel like this is a very peaceful transition. I feel like perhaps, Aries, you've accepted the ending is kind of how it's coming through. Like you've accepted whatever is ending in your life. Like you've accepted that that's part of the process. I feel like it's just like an energy of letting go as well with the Lady of the Harvest, especially. Like peacefully letting go of something, and also like just giving yourself enough space and time to quote unquote mourn the loss of whatever it is that you're losing. I feel like though it actually has been a process, because the cards that are coming out underneath here are the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. So it's like I feel like you've been steadily moving towards this new beginning for a while, is how this is coming through, because both of these cards together make up the Chariot, right? The white and the black horse. So I feel like you have been moving forward already. It's kind of like you have been already on this path for a while. It's kind of like you've reached the end though of this part of the journey, and you're about to step into whatever's new. But with the Knight of Cups, it's like emotionally you may still be looking back on something, like looking back at what it is that you'll be leaving and feeling emotional about it, maybe. Sorry, Aries, I got emotional holding up this Knight of Cups. Again, I feel like there is heartache over this, whatever this ending is. But you have here the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords coming out next. Like this is after the 6 of Swords. It's like whatever this transition is, you're moving towards this, right? You're like, it's something that's necessary, it feels like, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna be easy or that you won't feel sad about it. It is some sort of new beginning, and I feel like it is true to you. So there is a lot of truth coming in. or that you're moving towards the truth, but it's not easy, or it's feeling like a loss, like you're losing something, or having to let something go. I feel like that's more of a better way of saying it. It's like you're having to let something go, rather than, like, I feel like it's not being taken from you. I feel like it's not something where it's like you're losing something, quote unquote, in that sense. It feels like something that you are letting go. Right? It's like a broken wish. Something that you hoped would happen, but maybe is not. But it feels like you are peaceful about it. It feels like it's not something that's causing any stress or anxiety. It just feels like letting it go. It's also coming out with the Devil in reverse. So again, the Capricorn reading might be helpful for you. It's also coming through as being like a karmic contract that's coming to an end, because again, with karmic contracts, especially in relationships, I see that as just being like you had lessons to learn with this person, or whatever situation. It doesn't have to be a person, could be a situation. You had lessons to learn, but it, like, you've learned it, you've completed it. It could be something like a graduation, right? Like that kind of thing. Like you've completed the cycle, or you've completed the lesson. So it's like it's time to leave that place, or leave this whatever situation into the next thing, but it's like you're still gonna miss it, is kind of how it's coming through. Maybe you won't, though, because it is the Devil energy. Maybe you won't, but it is kind of like it's letting go is just what's coming through. You're letting go of something. It's come to its natural end, is how it's coming through, because you have here the 8 of Wands and the World coming out, like beside the Devil, like this. So it is a major completion. I feel like there's some sort of like karmic contract that has been completed, or you've learned a significant lesson. It is coming through with Saturn energy as well. Like some sort of like restriction is now being like removed. I don't know why that would be. Well, it is. It kind of feels like there's some sort, like it's kind of like you're leaving school or something. Or like if it's not school, like a place where you learned a lot is how that's coming through. But again, I feel like you're already getting sort of like new information about what's coming next. With the Mythomancer especially, it's like you're getting a lot of new information with the 8 of Wands, but it's kind of like in the midst of the grieving process, because it's kind of like whatever it is that you're receiving all this new information about, it's also showing you what changes are going to have to be made as well with the Moon. Like what changes are going to have to be made to your situation, or to your life, or to your habits, or whatever, in order for this new thing to sort of become part of your life. And I actually feel like there is sort of like there's going to be, because the next card coming out next is the Page of Swords. So I often see this card as being sort of like a research gathering kind of energy, where like you sort of like gather as much information as you can before taking an action. So I'm actually seeing this as being like that might be part of what you're doing in Pisces season, especially with the Hanged Man, where it's kind of like there may be something like getting a lot of information about what changes are needing to be made, or maybe you're gonna have to do a lot of like research on something. It's interesting though, that's coming out underneath the Page of Swords. You have the 3 of Swords. So you might not... That's a tough energy because it's kind of like you have the World and then you have the Three of Swords. So it is like an ending. I feel like with this Page of Swords though, it's kind of like there's it's feeling like giving yourself space to grieve whatever that loss is for you. Like whatever, because it might be that you might even be like really excited about moving forward. But it's kind of like once you're past the gate, like once you're past it or out of it, it's like there's like a surprising amount of pain. I don't want to phrase it like that. It's like something that perhaps you didn't think would be difficult or emotional or tricky, but it's like it's more it affects you more than you thought it would, is kind of how it's coming through. So Aries, I feel like this is saying, just to sum it up a little bit more cleanly, I feel like it's talking about whatever this change is that's happening. I feel like after you've gotten out of a situation, it's kind of like there may be like a period of grief or loss or just like feeling perhaps heartache over what you no longer have in a way that's like a little bit unexpected, because it kind of feels like whatever change it is that you're making or that you're going through, it's actually something that you wanted. So it's kind of like it may be something where it's like now that you're out of a situation, it's like the pain of losing whatever it is that you lost is more than you expected, or it's like you didn't expect to feel that sad about it. Maybe, but it's like maybe something like that. Anyways, that's a tough, like it's surprising. I didn't expect this reading to be so emotional, but it is. And it's almost like wanting to separate that pain or the emotional aspect of it from the new thing, because it's almost like I don't even want to go into the new thing yet until we deal with whatever this issue is. Like it's kind of like I feel like that's part of the energy as well, like maybe just giving yourself space and time to feel all the things. Like sometimes just even after any sort of ending, you just gotta like cry about it, like let out all of the emotions about it. And it may be like just more emotional than you anticipated it being. Okay, anyways, Aries, I do want to say though that it is something that's like a change that you wanted or that you were moving towards. You were taking all the steps towards this change. It's kind of like this Pisces season may be just kind of like emotional in terms of like letting something go, whatever that is for you. But you do have next what it is you're moving into: the Fan, the Romance Celebration Party, and the King of Cups, right? So I feel like this is another person. The way it's coming through here is like this, like you're the Page of Swords, they're the King of Cups. I feel like this other person, if this is sort of like a partnership or a relationship, it's like, I feel like they also, because they're coming in with the cups, right, are perhaps giving you time to grieve or move through the difficult emotions of whatever loss it is that you may be going through. It's like because I feel like the changes will be more so on your side than on theirs, though I'm not sure. It's not their reading, so I don't know. But I feel like maybe there'll be more changes to your life than it will be theirs, is how it's coming through. And you have the Page of Wands coming out next, which is which is lovely to see. I feel like there's some sort of like new creative path or new things that you're learning, or like a lot of fun and creativity, some sort of new journey or adventure. But again, this one's looking back at something. So it may be that like you're moving forward with your life, you're making a change, you're moving into something new, but there's a surprising amount of like looking back at what you left behind is kind of how it's coming through. Surprisingly, I feel like it's not expected. Like I feel like you're not expecting how much this change might be affecting your life, and it's not a bad thing, Aries. I feel like it's more so just saying like you have to feel the loss of it a little bit before you move on to the next thing. There is sort of like, especially with the Lady of the Harvest, of like a proper ceremony or a proper like sending off energy, whatever that is. It is feeling like celebrating though, like celebrating the end of a difficult situation, but that there is a surprising amount of emotion that comes through. Okay, Aries, I'm gonna leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your reading. So let's get started here. I actually tried to do your reading yesterday. I recorded it and everything, but something felt off about that reading. There are sort of like it feels like the same story. I feel like, so anyways, we'll get into this reading and I'll bring in the aspects from yesterday's reading as well, just to help tell the story. But bottom of the deck here, you have the Wall, which says misunderstanding, the Ecstasis card, and then the Six of Coins, which is so interesting. These two cards, so the Six of Coins talks to me about a long-term investment. And the Ecstasis card is sort of like this energy of joy and happiness and bliss, which is interesting. But then you have here the Wall, misunderstanding, because I actually feel like there's something about like you put up a wall between you and something that is actually beneficial to you, but it kind of feels like there was the way it was coming through in yesterday's reading was that there was like a broken ring energy, right? Like a parting of the ways between you and another. And that reading from yesterday was like wanting you to get a new perspective on something. So it could be something from the past, that kind of thing. I feel like though that parting of the ways was actually beneficial to you, Cancer, where it's like you cut ties with something or someone, and it's kind of like it felt like a retreat of some sort, or like just withdrawing your energy. I felt like it was beneficial to you. That's how it was coming through. However, it did feel like a temporary solution, where it was like it's kind of like the energy of that reading was like wanting you to take another look at it, because it's kind of like there was something changing about the situation, or like it was temporary, meaning like the problem wasn't solved. It was just kind of like a temporary fix. And it's kind of like there was something here about like revisiting that, or like finding the actual like long-term solution, if that makes sense. So that's the overall context of your reading. The overall energy here you have is the Sage, which talks about like wisdom and retreat. There was an interesting energy coming through here about like honoring tradition, but also accepting change where necessary. So I feel like that's part of that's your energy. I feel like you are seeking the answer to something, which is really interesting, the cards, because the way that I pulled them, I have two rows. And it's like all the top row cards are like really positive, and then all the bottom row cards are a bit trickier, which is interesting. But anyways, so the first two first couple of cards here, you have the Success card. And you have the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, which is so lovely. I feel like this is talking about like some sort of new start for you in terms of success. It could be something that is a long-term investment as well, like something that you're putting a lot of energy in, something that is going to be very successful as well. But there's something here about like the Knight of Coins from this deck always talks to me about like a discovery, right? So it is kind of bringing in this sage energy of like discovering some sort of new information that's going to bring more clarity into this situation. You have next here the Dolphin, financial gain, usually coming from something you did in the past. I can't remember which reading. There was another reading from yesterday that had this card, but I can't remember now. That reading might be significant to you. And you have the Ace of Cups. So, I feel like there was something from the past where it was like maybe you parted ways with someone or something, and it actually helped you find some version of success for you. Whatever that means. And all of this, like, so you have two aces here, right? All of this sort of unconditional love and a new beginning. The Dolphin also brings in like joy and happiness, especially with the Ecstasis card. But there's something here about the next card out. You have the Frying Pan, which says trouble, accusations, and underneath that the Four of Cups, which is interesting. The phrase that was coming through here was, I feel like the actual phrase is like out of the frying pan into the fire. I was actually hearing it in reverse for you though. So you out of the fire into the frying pan. So I feel like you were in a tough situation in the fire, and it's like you made a jump here, or you parted ways with something. But you're now in the frying pan. So it's a slightly better situation, but I feel like it's still like uncomfortable. And it's coming out here with the Four of Cups, which is kind of like, I feel like there's something here about, because the Four of Cups to me, like this one looks to me like feeling unsatisfied, or like, even though you have a lot, it's kind of like not being in a mind space to be able to appreciate what you have is kind of how it's coming through. And so this is the only card here where it's kind of like right in the middle of the spread with these two cards surrounding. So the Fool and the Sun, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, and then right in the middle here is the Four of Cups. It's like you're surrounded by goodness, is what I'm seeing. But there's this Four of Cups energy, which is interesting. Like, why is that there? Maybe that's part of the problem. Or like something that is like, I feel like it's something that's shared with another. It kind of feels like there's like a connection, especially with the wall. It's kind of like you built a wall to sort of keep somebody out or something out, or like detach yourself or remove yourself from a situation, which I feel like was a very, temporarily it had positive effects for you, right? It's like removing yourself from like a toxic work environment or whatever. But I still feel like there's almost like an energetic connection here that's still tying you to it, if that makes sense. It's almost like, because on the bottom row, underneath this, you have here the Ten of Swords. This is like one of the more like difficult Ten of Swords. Like it is a tough ending, right? Like this is the fire energy, quote unquote, that you got out of, is what this is looking to me like. I actually feel like this might even be another person, right? It's like if there was a separation, it's like this is the other person who's in a 10 of Swords. And you have here the 6 of Swords coming out next. It's almost like you left somebody behind is what it's looking like to me. And it's like they're going through some sort of really difficult ending. And for you, it's like trying to move on or trying to move forward, but it's like they're not, their energy is pulling on you in some way. So even if you have a wall, it's, or you have boundaries, or whatever that is, it's like their energy is still pulling on you, and it puts you in this energy, right? Like it's like you're out of the fire, but you're still in the frying pan. So the frying pan is still being affected by the fire, if that makes sense. You have to like remove the frying pan from off of the stove. Metaphorically, right? Like I don't know what that means. It's like, did you check if the stove is still on? That kind of thing. Because there is anxiety about that as well. Because you do have the 6 of Swords coming out, and then later on you have the 9 of Swords. But you do have the moon. You have the moon coming out underneath the 4 of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Because I'm kind of seeing this as like, because typically with the 4 of Cups and the Ace of Cups, like there are the 3 cups and then the 1 cup that's being offered, right? I feel like it's almost something like having to choose the Ace of Cups and allowing that to flush out whatever the 3 of Cups energy was. There's also just something here about like, because this one in the traditional tarot you have like the wolves, right? So they are here, but they're kind of like ghostly figures. It's like it's kind of hard to see, but it's talking to me about like attachment. There's like an attachment from the past that's still pulling on you. Is kind of how it's coming through, and it's like how do you release that? The full moon might be like a significant time or like a good energy to help you release that, especially if you're feeling like tired or drained, even though you have all of this like really lovely energy. But anyways, with the Fool and the Sun card coming out next, it's such a positive energy. It's like getting a fresh start on something. You have here the handshake, which says a meeting with a stranger could be important. And so I feel like there was, like in yesterday's reading, there was mention of like somebody who is at a distance to you, who had information for you about how to make your temporary solution more permanent. So it was kind of something like maybe you're having to go out with the Fool card, and there's somebody that you have to meet with or talk to about in order to like give you more information about how to solve a problem or how to like remove this energetic tie, because it does feel like it's energy. It's like I feel like there's this person is not in your present conditions is the word that I heard there. Present conditions. Maybe there were conditions that were not met. Because it could be business, right? It doesn't have to be love. It could be business. Like it's like it's like there was maybe like a business opportunity where it's like the conditions weren't met, so you had to part ways with them. But for some reason their energy is still tied to you. It's almost like you need to like go out and find the new opportunity in order to like wash out the taste of the last one, if that makes sense. Like it's like having to flush out the old energy, whatever that is. And perhaps a stranger, like meeting with a stranger could be important, is how that's coming through here. But you do have the Sun. I feel like so the next card coming out next is Chair Empty. Someone is leaving your life. So I feel like it's kind of coming in with this energy of like, again, flushing something out. Because it's also kind of seeing something. I'm seeing something here with the Sun of like, I feel like maybe you are having to go out of your chair is kind of how it's going through, or like out of office, like having to take some sort of like temporary break from whatever the situation is in order to deal with it first, like to flush it out. And then like returning back to it once it's all done is kind of how it's coming through. Because this is a long-term investment, right? It's like, I feel like there's still something tying you to the situation. Anyway, the next couple of cards underneath the Four of Cups and the Fool, you have here the Ace of Coins and the Nine of Swords. So the Eight of Coins talks to me about, like, this one specifically talks to me about like getting the final piece to a puzzle, like putting it all together, that kind of thing. I especially with the Sage, I feel like there's some sort of information that you're still missing in order to complete like the full picture. Again, I feel like you have made some sort of step already where you currently are that got you out of a tricky situation, but the frying pan is still on the stove, if that makes sense. So it's like this like one final step, perhaps, in terms of like removing the situation. I feel like there's anxiety about it though. Well, because I'm just seeing it like this. It's like there's somebody here. Whatever this Ten of Swords represents to you, it could be another person or situation or whatever. It doesn't have to be a person. It could just be like an environment or whatever. I'm seeing this as like the fear, if there is fear or anxiety, it's like it's creeping in your space, if that makes sense. It's like pushing you, like it's like the fire being transferred through the frying pan, if that makes sense. Like it's transference, like there's like an energy being transferred to you. So it's like, even though you're not directly in it, even though you put a wall up, even if you've established boundaries, it's like this, it's still affecting you in some way through energy. But good news is we have here the World to end it off. So it's kind of like all the cards in the bottom row are kind of like dark and shadowy, besides like the Six of Swords. So I feel like you have moved on from a situation, but the situation is still holding on to you in some way. And the World is just looking to me like, because it came out under the Chair Empty, it's kind of like here with the seat, right? The chair, the throne, if you will. It's like this is kind of looking to me like you're in office, right? Like you're in your chair, you're doing your work, that kind of thing. And it's like this one knows where to find you, is how this is looking to me like. This past situation, right? It's like if you have the same everything, it's kind of like they know how to access your energy. So it's almost like you have to take a temporary vacation, go out traveling perhaps with the World here, because it's like going out of your chair and then going into the world, if that makes sense. Temporarily perhaps. And I feel like while you're out there, like taking a break from whatever it is the problem is, it's like you meet somebody and they help you to find the solution to your problem, is how it's coming through here. So Cancer, I'm going to leave it there. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi Libra, welcome to your reading. So let's get started here. Really interesting. I tried to do your reading earlier, but there was just something off about it, and then I got a huge download after that one, and then the energy shifted. So I feel like there's a big shift in energy happening for you. So especially with the cards coming out, they're kind of tough. The overall context, you have here the Fly, a period of ill health and depression, Faf the Footer, and the Eight of Coins. And in this deck, this talks about sort of like some sort of difficult task that you've been working on. It actually was feeling like something that was like testing your commitment to something, or like a particular challenge that you had to like free yourself from, is how that's coming through. But what I love about this card is that there's the 6 swans in the background. And I think in all 4 of these readings, I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure that the 6 of Swords came out in all of them. So you do have the 6 of Swords in your reading as well. So for the cardinal signs in general, I just feel like moving into more peaceful waters, right? Like moving on from something, moving towards something more peaceful is just the overall theme for cardinal signs today. But anyways, there's something here significant about, because the Faf the Footer here talks about like grounding your energy, like needing to ground, needing to pay attention to your body and like take care of like the physical vessel as well. Because I feel like, especially with the feet, right? That's sort of like a main focus here in both of these cards, where I feel like there was perhaps some sort of challenge that maybe you were like really, you really needed to focus on something. And it's like, maybe there were things that were like, there are areas in your life, particularly health related, perhaps, where it's like you were, neglecting that aspect because you were focused on something else, for example, or like some sort of difficult task, some sort of like challenge or whatever it is. This card is interesting here with the Fly. A period of ill health and depression. Sorry to laugh. It's just, I'm laughing because it's like flies are considered sort of like not positive insects, right? They're kind of a nuisance. But flies are also pollinators. So I feel like there's this energy here of like maybe you were doing a task that was not pleasant to you, but like because you would rather be like pollinating the flowers, like that kind of thing. But it's like you had to deal with this situation first before you could go do something else. So I feel like that's changing for you. There's a big shift in energy for you, Libra, which is really lovely. The first card overall, you have Sheev the Kruak, which I love. This is like an Ace of Cups energy. But it's so much more than that as well, because it's kind of like, especially if this is something about manifesting dreams, this is the card that you want to have as an overall energy, because it's kind of like a wishing well or like a fountain where it's like you drop a coin in, you drop in your dreams, and it manifests. Very quickly is kind of how it's coming through here. But so anyways, it's so much love. It's the Ace of Cups. It's like this fountain as well. Which is so lovely. So the first couple of cards here, you have the Staff, which says you will be taken care of in difficult times, and you have the Emperor card coming out. So the Aries reading might be significant to you. That is your opposite sign, because your energy is coming in with this feminine energy, right? All of this like feminine energy for you. It's like this might be a partnership, or just like somebody that you trust in your life, or a friend, or whatever this is for you. They're coming in as more of a masculine energy. I feel like they have a lot of support for you. It's like it's kind of just like they're like, I don't know, like taking you under their wing, or like helping you in some way. Because it's kind of feeling like there was some sort of like struggle that you were dealing with. And it's kind of like this one here is supporting you in whatever way that is. It feels kind of like emotional support, like they're helping you with like emotional support of some sort. It could be other things as well. But anyways, what's underneath the Emperor is the 5 of Wands. So some sort of conflict as well. I kind of feel like whatever it was for you, Libra, like this conflict was actually taking a lot of your energy in some way. Like it was like, again, draining you or something like that. I often see with this Emperor card sort of like an enough is enough kind of energy, like that kind of thing. So if this is another person, it feels like that they're sort of like putting this like putting an end to whatever this conflict is, whatever that represents to you. It's kind of like they're either supporting you, standing up for you, or like helping you to put an end to the situation is how it's coming through. And then what's so lovely, you have here the tankard, which is celebration, fun, and enjoyment. And then the Ace of Cups, right? So again, more of this sort of like emotional, just like, it's just so much like relief and celebration and fun and enjoyment. It's like you've reached the end of this, like whatever challenging time this is. It's kind of also coming through here as being sort of like, with the 6 of coins coming out next. This is why the fly card was interesting and why I was laughing about it. 'Cause it's like you were dealing with shit, maybe like you're dealing with like a whole bunch of shit from other people or the situation or like whatever this like 8 of coins was. But then this card, I always talk about the 6 of coins card is like being returned to your family or like the people that you love, like being returned to people who are like you, like your people, whatever that means to you, like your soulmates. This does come in with sort of like a 6 of Cups energy. So it's kind of like whatever the situation is, leaving the 5 of Wands and going into the 6 of coins, which is an energy that's very reciprocal. There's an equal give and take, where you belong, that kind of thing. It's such a relief. I feel like there's also something. So you have here the tankard. I feel like so that's coming through as the masculine, the Emperor. There's also something here at the teapot, deep friendship with someone of the same sex, where it's also coming out with the 4 of Cups. So it's kind of like, but I'm seeing this as being sort of like, there's also a lot of love and support coming from like a friendship where it's like it's kind of like they're like welcoming you into their space, or they're like, bringing you out from the cold, like bringing you in from the cold, I should say, because it's kind of like you were perhaps on the outside of something because you were dealing with some sort of difficult situation. It's like they're bringing you in from the cold, I should say. They're also coming out with the Magician, which is feeling like I always see this as a fairy godmother kind of energy, but one who's like almost like giving you a transformation or like kind of like a makeover, or just like, well, it doesn't have to be that, but it's like perhaps just emotionally, because there's so much cups energy coming through, like just refilling your cup. Like there's so much like refilling your energy. Especially in terms of like, it feels very much like cups related. Like most of the cards here are water, so it feels like there was maybe grounding is necessary, of course, but I feel like part of the like issue was in terms of emotional, like your emotions, like how you feel, that kind of thing. Okay, so it's kind of like whatever's happening next. It's kind of like when you're like dealing with something, right? Especially if there's some sort of like problem with whatever that is. It's like what's coming out next is the clouds, which says temporary problems, meaning I feel like there are some issues that are still needing to be worked through, because it's kind of like you're moving into a better feeling place, but there are still like sort of things or like recovery kind of energies that are needing to take place with the clouds here. And you have here the cane, which says pay attention to your health, right? So it could be just like a recovery period that may take some time, just because there's like perhaps health related issues, or just like could be emotional health as well, right? It doesn't have to be physical. It could be emotional health, especially with like the fly, right? Depression. That's a like an emotional and mental health kind of topic. It's not, but it does have physical consequences. So it's all of the three combined: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. All of that's going to go through sort of a recovery period, is kind of how it's feeling. But it is temporary. You're going to get through it, absolutely. Especially because I feel like whenever that difficult situation is over, or at least you have more support now in dealing with it, even if it's not over, even if it's something that you're still having to deal with or work with, it's like at least you have more support to help you, is kind of how it's coming through. Anyway, so you have here Justice and the Star coming out next. The Star card, so something that you're wishing for, some sort of wish granted, some sort of blessing. I feel like it's also talking about, so the Star to me also talks about like healing in general, but like being renewed at the end of it, right? So like having like a fresh outlook, or it's like having hope again. It's that kind of energy. And because it's coming out with Justice, it is coming through as being sort of like a balancing energy. So if it's like if you have been dealing with some sort of ill health or problem or something, this energy is coming in to balance it. It's like the opposite energy is what you're going to be experiencing. So if there was a period of ill health, you're going to be experiencing the health, the wellness, the happiness, the joy, the celebration. Like all of this energy is coming in to balance that. And I feel like what's coming out next here, there's this combination of cards. You have the Eight of Cups, so again, another Cups energy, and the Six of Swords. So you're moving on from something, whatever this is, the Eight of Cups. I feel like there is sort of an energy of leaving something behind, perhaps something that was causing ill health, or there may be sort of like subconscious patternings that may be present as well, because you do have the Queen of Cups underneath the Eight of Cups. Again, more emotional sort of energy, right? There's like emotional energy that is the main focus of your reading. So many cups. I feel like there's also here something about so there may have been some sort of like subconscious energy that is now being made aware to you, that is allowing you to move forward, or leaving that behind, whatever that energy was, like leaving that energy behind so that you can move on to something better, is how this is feeling. And with the Six of Swords, it's a very peaceful transition, right? Like you're moving into much calmer waters now. It does feel like, though, like I feel like Libra, you were handling the situation. It's kind of just like there are people saying you don't have to do it alone, is how that's coming through. And finally, you're ending with the Four of Wands, which is all of this sort of like stability and happiness and celebration and like coming together. I feel like this is also talking about a partnership. So it's it's just feeling like so much more like peace and happiness. I do think that there will be sort of like temporary problems that you're having to work through, but I feel like it's like whatever those problems are almost gonna feel like just like it's not even, it's so much better than what it is that you were dealing with, that it's like it's not gonna be an issue. So there's so much relief and happiness in this reading, Libra. So I'm going to leave it there. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great night. Bye. Hi, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading. So let's get started here. We're starting off with the overall context. The bottom of the deck, you have here the Queen of Swords, List of the Shadows, and the Scales, which says keep your life in balance. So it's coming, especially at the Queen of Swords, there may be a Libra energy that's significant to you, or the Libra reading within this video might be helpful for you as well. With the List of the Shadows, though, it's coming through as being like, I feel like you're making some sort of change to break free of some sort of pattern. Is how it's coming through. So you do have the Devil as the last card in your spread. And of course the Devil is the Capricorn card. But it is coming through with some sort of like pattern. It's really interesting, your reading, Capricorn. Anyways, I feel like it's talking about breaking through some sort of pattern. I feel like there's been some sort of blockage for you or obstacle. It's kind of how it's coming through here. So that's the overall context. The first cards that we have out here, the Faeries. So all four of these came out together. So these two, the Feline and the Bodacious Bodak, are both talking about the same thing. I feel like there's something that you have been avoiding, Capricorn. Something that feels really difficult, or like the energy of like loose ends are coming in, like tying up loose ends. There's like perhaps something that feels very tedious, or if it's not tedious, it's kind of just like something that you're dreading is actually kind of how it was coming through. It might be something to do with like something that like is really necessary, but it's uncomfortable or difficult, or like you just don't want to do it for whatever reason. I feel like there is an energy here though that is like trying to push you in that direction. It's like when you don't take care of your loose ends, this one comes in and starts tugging on them, right? So it's kind of like there's kind of like an energy here of like tying up the loose ends, because you do have a new beginning here with the fairy guide and support. And with this one, the fairies of the future, it's like you have an extremely bright future ahead, but it's like you got to take care of the loose ends first. It feels like one specific thing that feels like the biggest sort of challenge is how it's coming through, because the first couple of cards here, so you have here the Door, opportunities are waiting for you, and the Three of Cups. So this one's so interesting because today it was coming through as like that's the door behind whatever this Three of Cups is, and there's something in the way is kind of how it's coming through, because today it was looking like to me like Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guards the doors of hell to prevent people or souls or whatever from escaping from hell. So, or in the Harry Potter version, like Fluffy, the three-headed dog, is a dog that's guarding the Philosopher's Stone to everlasting life, right? So it's like either way, you have to get through this door, Capricorn. So it's like you're leaving a place that feels difficult, if we want to metaphorically call that hell, or there's something on the other side of the door that is going to bring you quote unquote everlasting life. Either way, you have to get through this door. That's sort of what I'm seeing here. But I feel like this is the obstacle for you, it's feeling like there's like some sort of challenge or difficulty about like moving through this door, because it has here the 7 of emotions underneath that. It's kind of like, it's almost like maybe you're procrastinating on something, or it's like there's like a lot of options suddenly, or it's just like perhaps trying to find the answer. Maybe you don't actually know how to get through the door is kind of how it's coming through, because there is kind of like a the key's missing because you have the next 2 cards here, haystack and the key, right? It's like the key is in the haystack, but you can't find the key is kind of how it's coming through to me. Like, especially this, it's like having to sort through the haystack in order to find the key that will let you through the door. I feel like here at the haystack, it is coming through with this sort of like loose end energy. It's like there are things that were left undone, or like things that are needing to be tied up, which is kind of what's like the obstacle. It's like the key is in fulfilling all of these loose ends. It's kind of like you have to tie it all up. It's like this is looking to me just like a big pile of mess that you have to sort through or clean up or whatever. And I feel like the key is there because it says successful outcome to your problems. It's like you have to first sort through all of this energy here in order to find the key. What's underneath that you have is the 8 of materials, which is talking about like getting to work on this. It's also bringing in all of this energy of like loose ends. It's like tying all the loose ends together or tying them off, or so interesting. I don't know if this is like, because you have the 3-headed dog and then you have this like 8-armed lady. A lot of mythology is coming in your reading today. Like a lot of like mythological creatures. Maybe there is some sort of like myth or something that you're that has the answer for you, like if you read through some sort of story. Anyways, because you have here underneath here the page of inspiration, underneath the 8 of materials, right? So it's kind of like in doing this work that perhaps you've been avoiding, or that just feels like it's like a mess you don't want to deal with. It's like there's something here that comes through as inspiration, right? So it's kind of like this problem, whatever this is, the loose ends that you're having to tie up might actually have nothing to do with the door, the new opportunity that you're heading into, but it's like you have to close off all of this before the door will open. It's like the key is at the bottom of this haystack, but you have to sort through everything at the top first. But anyways, I feel like there is some sort of like new inspiration coming in that you're connecting with. This one talks about like joyfully creating something, because it could also be something like productive procrastination. You know, when you're procrastinating on something, like you don't want to do something, so you like pick up some sort of like new hobby, or like you do something that's productive but is not the thing that you're supposed to be doing. Maybe that's part of it. I feel like that if you are encountering that energy, it's like just go with the flow. Maybe you will find the answer to what you're seeking while you're focused on something else. But anyways, Capricorn, I feel like so that's all like, I feel like that's all your energy, but then there's something else here about like the 2 of emotions, the 2 of cups. So significant relationship, this is coming out under the key, right? A successful outcome to your problems. So maybe there's somebody who's going to be helping you with this, or that maybe you need to ask them for assistance in whatever this is. The Virgo reading also might be significant to you because you have a couple of similar cards that came out in the Virgo reading as well. the Two of Cups, and it's coming out with the Six of Swords underneath that, right? And so what I always see with the Six of Swords is like whatever obstacle you are encountering, it like you get through it very easily. I feel because it was kind of coming through as being sort of like there's some sort of thing that you're avoiding. It's not necessarily the thing itself, like the task or whatever it is that you're having to do. It's not that's the issue, is how it's coming through. It was almost feeling to me like there was like not wanting to feel a certain negative emotion that is tied to whatever the task is. So it's not the task itself, it's like how you're feeling about it. It's like trying to avoid the water is kind of how it's coming through. There's some sort of watery energy, like some sort of emotional energy that maybe you're trying to avoid. So it's not actually the task itself, it's how you feel about it. But anyways, I feel so there may be a significant relationship that's helping you to move forward or to like get to the next part or past the obstacle. And then what you have next here is the bag, which says something important such as a new job or a raise. And then you have underneath that the Death card and the Queen of Pentacles. So some sort of transition, right? I feel like that's the whole point of this reading. You're moving from one state into another state. You're passing through a door. Perhaps having to do with work, because you do have here the Queen of Pentacles. Again, the Virgo reading might be significant to you, but I feel like here there's something here about like this status might be changing because it has the Death card on top of that, where it's like something about your physical reality as it is now, or what it is that you've gathered or maintained is changing in some way, is shifting in some way into something new. But it feels like there's something about what's like there's whatever's on the other side of it, because it feels kind of like this energy is something that you might miss, is how it's feeling. Like it's like this is, I feel like it's like wherever it is you now, wherever it is that you are now, I feel like you've reached a very established position, or like you have reached a level of success here that is familiar to you, right? But because this is changing, because you have the next cards coming out here next, the Eight of Inspiration and the Four of Cups, and then underneath that is the Four of Pentacles. So there's something here about like you're moving forward, right? It's like you're being freed from whatever this obstacle is, or whatever, however you want to phrase that. But then you have these two energies which are kind of like are kind of difficult with the Four of Cups and the Four of Pentacles. It's like I feel like this is something where like once you're on the other side of the door, it's almost like there's like boredom. Or if it's not boredom, it's just like almost like missing what you had before. The phrase that was coming through here, Capricorn, is like again, if we're using this metaphor of hell, right? Like that's sort of like where you're starting off, right? You're having to get out of a situation that feels like hell in some way. There is this phrase that's sort of like used in therapy where especially people who have come out of stressful or traumatic situations, that sometimes we choose familiar hells instead of unfamiliar heavens. So I feel like that's sort of the energy that you're going through, where it's like you're leaving a very familiar hell is kind of how it's coming through. Where it's not pleasant, whatever energy it is here, but perhaps you've grew familiar to it. It's something that you are used to now. So it's like when you get out of there, it's kind of like it's unfamiliar And so it brings up all these emotions of like, I don't want to use the word boredom because it's not it, but it almost feels like that. It's like, especially if you're coming out of like a very stressful situation and then going into a very peaceful situation, it's like nothing's happening. Why is there nothing happening? Why is there no stress? Right? It's coming through like that, Capricorn. It's like you may even be moving from a situation like that is so much more peaceful, so much more pleasant, so much more like calm and not stressful. But because it's unfamiliar, it feels quote unquote boring. Like nothing's happening. I'm not stressed, which means that maybe there's something wrong. That's sort of how it's coming through, because the last tea leaf card says apple, temptation will test you, and the devil card, right? So the devil card's coming out underneath, like beside this, where it's kind of like you got out of hell, but it's because wherever you are now is unfamiliar. It's like, should I go back to the familiar place? Because at least I know what everything is, even if it's hell. Does that make sense? It's kind of like, I'm going to just use stress as an example, especially if like you're going from a stressful job to a not stressful job, or whatever it is, situation, whatever that situation is. It's like the new unfamiliar place, which is calm and good and peaceful, might actually feel really uncomfortable at the beginning, because it's like, it's not stressful. That it's almost boring is what this is going through. I don't want to use that word because it's not boring. That's the thing. It's not boring is not the same thing as not being stressed. There's something there about that. It's like maybe you just got used to the stress, or you got used to a situation that was not good for you. And it's almost like, now I'm getting kind of like smoke energy. Like if you're like around an energy where it's like there's always smoke, like smoggy air, and then you go into fresh air, it's like the fresh air almost hurts your lungs at first, because it's like, but it's actually obviously the smoky air that was not good for you, right? But it's like in that sort of like going into the new positive, peaceful place, it brings up all of it's almost like because it's so quiet or peaceful, it's like you can feel how much your body was under stress in the previous condition, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense, Capricorn. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that resonated with you. If it did, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.